What's going on, guys? Got an instant reaction here for the Connor and Mark show. Make sure you click that subscribe button and keep up with all our content on YouTube, as well as follow us on Instagram and Twitter as well at Connor and Mark show. Big Flyers win today in the shootout against the Buffalo Sabres. Didn't look hot in the beginning, but the Flyers found a way to persevere and get the big win. Mark, what was your reaction to this big win against the Buffalo Sabres?
I mean, you described it right there as perseverance, and they could have easily given up. And after they went down 3-1 in the first period, really tough game for Carter Hart, and Elliott came in and really revived this team, gave them a spark. They came out, scored a quick one in the second. Then Buffalo inched a goal further at 4-2. But again, perseverance. They came out. They didn't let any goals up in the third, and it was a very entertaining overtime, but they were able to get it done in the shootout, winning 2-0.
Yeah, the first 2021 shootout win for the Flyers. It was really, like you said, they persevered and they found a way. It didn't not look good in the first period. They left the first period down 3-1, but outscored the Buffalo Sabres in the last two periods 3-1 and found a way, obviously, in the shootout to win the game. But listen, I didn't watch a whole lot of the game, but listen, the Buffalo Sabres obviously are not a playoff team. They're not going to be making the playoffs this year. They obviously did not have Jack Eichel in this game, their star player. So really coming into this game, they should have won. They found a way to win, gave the Buffalo Sabres a point because of the overtime loss technically, but still though they found a way. They got 2 points. They needed it because the Penguins won tonight, and it really coming down to 5 teams in this Eastern Division. In this 4-team, playoff race, obviously with the Boston Bruins, the Pittsburgh Penguins, the New York Rangers, the Washington Capitals, the New York Islanders are really turning on, and the Philadelphia Flyers. It's really going to be turned into a 5-team race with a 4-team playoff, and they're going to have to turn it on these next couple of weeks because it's coming down to the second half of the season.
Yeah, I mean, right there, it's very competitive pool by those teams that you're naming, and they're going to need a huge performance and better performance at that from Carter Hart. And I do just want to quickly touch on that tonight. It was disappointing. I thought he played pretty well Sunday, obviously letting in 3 goals, 3-1 loss for the Flyers in, first game in front of their home fans. But again, very disappointing game here. He lets in 3 goals, pulled after the third period on 8 shots. I mean, he's got to. I know he knows this, and there's a lot of things on Hart, how he's very accountable, and this stuff does not sit well with him. But we're getting here again with the COVID shortened season. We're getting very close to the halfway point, almost past the halfway point. And he needs to wrinkle out whatever it is he's going through right now, because he's supposed to be the anchor of this team. And quite frankly, if it wasn't for Brian Elliott and his great play, not only when he gets the starts, but when he comes in to relief like he did tonight, if it wasn't for his great play, this Flyers team could be looking at a much different picture going in or entering March and getting closer to the end of the season. So a key here, Hart really needs to pick it up, and the defense has looked a little better, in my opinion.
Yeah, as it currently stands, the Flyers are at 29 points. It's currently sitting at that 5 spot, looking outside of the playoff 4, but they do have games in hand. They have 2 games in hand on the Penguins. They have about a game or 2, I believe a game in hand on the Bruins, and they have 3 games in hand on the Islanders and 2 games in hand on the Capitals. So they got a lot in games in hand due to the COVID shutdown a couple weeks ago due to the Flyers. But as of right now, it currently stands, the Flyers need to start picking it up. They have a tough stretch ahead of them. They got 2 games against the Capitals, I believe, at home. That's going to be in the next coming days. That's going to be on the Flyers will resume on Thursday night at 7 o'clock against the Capitals. Also Saturday night against the Capitals as well, and then they will continue Monday night on the road in New York against the Rangers as well. But I do want to talk about this. This came up earlier on the show. I was doing a show on WCOR with Ryan Powell, and it was pretty interesting. The NHL agreed to a new TV deal with ESPN, and ESPN was the original dealer with the NHL in the 90s, obviously with Gary Thorne and Bill Clement, obviously a historic
All time.
Yeah, historic commentary there, and obviously ESPN helped grow the game with the NHL. But obviously they moved to Versus Network and then moved to the NBC Sports National. But now they're going back to ESPN next year. Mark, what was your reaction to that? And that's a pretty big deal, obviously, with the NHL to grow the game.
Yeah, I mean, first thing that comes to mind, like you said, it's Gary Thorne and Bill Clement, and that tandem that's been together, I think, all of when ESPN was a part of, or I'm sorry, when the NHL was a part of ESPN. So many great calls, even in college and the Frozen Four. So, if they could somehow get Gary back in the booth and call some of those games, I think it'd be entertaining. But no, seriously, I think you're totally right in expanding the game. You're going to get a ton more viewership, and obviously ESPN has expanded to platforms so far, from when they were on ESPN. And when I say they, I'm talking about the NHL. I believe the last game aired for the NHL, and you can correct me, but it was somewhere in the mid or like 2000s, like 2005, 2006,
Yeah.
is where they moved to NBC Sports. And obviously with that announcement, I believe they're going to move away from NBC Sports. But yeah, totally. And it's going to be interesting just to see the setup, the commentators, and obviously the interaction of how far they can grow this game with in a great illustrious network like ESPN.
Yeah, well, they're gonna have to bring back some guys. I mean, they let go Barry Melrose obviously a couple of years ago, and they have John Buccigross, I believe, in ESPN right now, who's probably the favorite to call the games for ESPN right now. I listen, Gary Thorne's doing baseball games for the Baltimore Orioles. I doubt that he's gonna be one to come back. What's up?
I said we're available.
I mean,
call some
Connor and Mark show is available right now. So if you want us to call some games right now, we do have a lot of history in hockey games. We did do Golden Ram hockey. I mean,
we did.
That was a hot steak in the Westchester area. So, but listen, they're gonna have to grow the game, and they're gonna be doing seriously they're gonna be doing Stanley Cup games. That's in the deal. That 2022 to 2028, they'll be doing Stanley Cup games. So you have to bring back some reasonable hockey. And I'm sure if NBC's not out of the picture yet, supposedly they want another brand with the NHL, whether that's Fox News or Fox is in on it as well. Mm-hmm. NBC's still on it, even though they're doing it right now. They still may want to get in on the NHL. They don't want to dip just yet, but there's a lot of big brands that still want in on the NHL, and that they're probably going to do some type of partnership with ESPN at this point. But ESPN, like I said, is going to have to bring back some notable NHL hockey guys like Barry Melrose. Maybe a Jeremy Roenick would be a great get. I think at this point, I think he's a very smart mind. I'm sure there's a lot of NBC Sports people who are doing games right now. If NBC decides to move away from the game of hockey, maybe wants to move to ESPN if they want to do pregame, postgame, color commentary, stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting, but it's great to know because I love the ESPN theme. I love the ESPN vibe in the 90s and stuff like that. So I'm very excited to see what ESPN can do and help grow the game in the NHL.
Yeah, and the theme music was also the best. So
it's my favorite.
Definitely gets exciting thinking about it and them coming back. But back to obviously the point at hand here, the great win for the Flyers, 5-4.
Yeah.
Again, just going on a tear there and scoring 3 goals. I believe, two unanswered, one in the third, obviously, and then the shootout goal. So great game. Great relief by Elliott coming off the bench cold, and hopefully Hart can find his game here in the next few games because they're going to need it down the stretch, and they're most definitely going to need it in the playoffs.
I agree. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page, Connor and Mark Show, to keep up with all our content as well, and make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Connor Mark Show. And make sure to tune in on Saturdays, 95.3 WCHE, 10 to 11, Connor and Mark Show. This could be an exciting episode this Saturday. Francisco Rojas, who works for KYW Radio, and also Last Out Media, will be talking to us about Phillies and 76ers this week. There's a lot of interesting topics coming up this Saturday, so make sure you tune in then, and we'll see you guys then.